Greetings, Shelpers. Thank you for joining me tonight for Sonic Racing Crossworlds. We've had it a while, but I haven't been playing it much. And they did release some new characters. This is what the roster currently looks like. I had just gotten this fuckface and this fuckface. So, husband and I actually watched a whole breakdown of like which stats are good and why, and which ones actually don't do any good. And it's actually kind of interesting, but I forgot almost everything about it. But we watched a takedown one day. By the way, it tells you if you click on people or hover over them when we will get some of these bitches. So if you're hot and bothered over II, then you know that the expected release date is in January. I do not have any of the purchasable ones, but you do get certain ones for free because they are owned by the GA. So I will do wave for now. I will configure, I suppose. Yeah, well, I forgot how to see the stats.
X button, I think it is.
X button. Wait. Yeah, okay. We're not doing power. I guess we'll keep everything the way it is. But I gotta get online. I mean, I don't have to, but I should. I hope everybody's been having a good day. I hope you had a nice weekend. What did I do this weekend? I'm not really sure. Everything's been a blur. Oh, I finished my horror story, finally. What else did I do? Made out some cards to go in the mail because I am old as dirt, so I still send out physical cards in the mail for Christmas. I got packages ready yesterday to mail out. I have a few people receiving packages, one in state, a few out of state. Yeah, so, okay, I've been having a hard time with presents this year. Well, it isn't just the has no money, because we all have no money. But it's also been something akin to, how do I put this? Okay, so every year, I give my sister's parents an ornament. It's been a tradition for the last handful of years. I don't remember why I started it. Sometimes it's just been like a nice ornament that I think they would like on their tree. Sometimes I think it's something to commemorate something. Like they have 3 cats. And the year they got the 3 cats, they got them almost all at once. But the year they got their 3 cats, I actually gave them an ornament with like a cat on it. Because, you know. Well, I had a pretty ornament all picked out this year, and I ordered it when I ordered some other presents. Well, here it was like, well, because I ordered it from Amazon, the devil, yes. Hi, Amazon, I know you own Twitch too. We were like waiting because it was like, well, you know. Yeah, you have to get it right in the middle. I could have done worse. Okay, yeah, some people can start with a monster truck. That's fine. I don't plan on winning. I have not played this and I don't even know how fucking long. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh, fuck my ass. This has been abysmal. Yeah, I didn't do a practice round or two. Maybe I should have. That's alright though. But anyway, here it was like, well, we kind of lost track of the ornament. I'm like, okay. And then they're like, well, you know, just delayed. And then they're like, well, we lost track of it. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And then here, after everything had gotten here, I like look and yesterday, and they finally say, we're going to issue you a refund. And I'm like, wait a minute, so I don't have it. Now you're going to be like, well, why is that such a bad thing? Christmas is far enough away, you can order something else. Since we all know I sprung for a month of fucking Prime, just to make sure my anxiety isn't as through the roof as it usually is. Okay, great, spectacular. Now, that would be good if it wasn't already telling me, like, everything would be here, like, on the 20th. And it might be before Christmas, but you see sister and I are getting together for the party, oh shit, on the 17th. So that's Wednesday for those of you at home. So because it's fucking Wednesday only already, and they wouldn't come till the 20th, I'm pretty fucking boned. So I freaked out yesterday, and the husband was trying to help me, and he's like, well, we can order locally because there are a few places that might have stuff, but I'm like, I don't want it to be like from a dollar store. I want it to be from like, you know, a decent place, like one where it's like cute one-off ornaments. So he went out today and like mailed my packages and stuff, and then he went to, you know, a different place or two, and we had a boutique or two that's supposedly a Christmas stuff, but the boutique is actually not, like one of them isn't open today. So what he had to do was he had to make a run to one of the hardware stores. So, and then he actually took pictures on the cell phone coming in again for the win, and we were able to pick out an ornament together. They didn't have like the biggest variety, but they had enough, so we solved the ornament crisis. Okay, so, and it is a crisis because we don't even know if we're getting it together for Christmas Eve. An ornament is the kind of gift you want to, you know, make sure people have before Christmas, you know, so they can use it. Okay, so that was all fine. We have it safely under the tree. It's cute. I don't know what I would have, if I would have picked that necessarily, if I would have had a shit ton of options, but it's one of the Gans ornaments that's like a marshmallow snowman driving like a little wooden snowmobile with like candy cane treads on it or whatever, the slattered part of it. So it's cute. It is really cute. It's wearing a little helmet. It's nice. So we got that figured out. And now, okay, baby sibling, their big part of their gift for Christmas Eve. Now we don't even know if baby sibling is coming home in time for Christmas Eve. Go. Because money and all that. So we might have Christmas Eve as a family in January. At least I hope we get a Christmas Eve. It's starting to look not likely. But anyway, I digress. So we put their main part of their gift somewhere. And husband literally said, okay, watch where I'm putting it. Made a big show of putting it somewhere right in front of me. And I'll be goddamned if either one of us can remember where the fuck that is. So he was looking for it today. I'm trying to help him look in my limited capacity, of course. And ultimately, we can't find where the fuck we put it. I wish we could, but we can't. So that was, yeah, every time now I'm gonna get hit by that thing. So that was rough. And husband feels bad, but I'm just like, hey, we have a little bit of money left on the account, like we can do it, because for those of you keeping track at home, we have like a $10 limit. So it isn't like we're gonna like totally break the bank rebuying it, but at the same time it was like, god dang it, because I had found what I thought was a really cool thing within our budget. But I'm like, worst comes to worst, like baby sibling, his birthday is in February like ours is, so I'm like, if we can't find it now, maybe we'll find it later and we'll just give it to them for their birthday. So, but yeah, it's like every time something happens, we're like, I feel like we have, you know, everything's like under control from one thing. It just like another thing kind of starts, and that's the way it's been, I think, this whole year. Like, we finally have to, like, we got everything going, and then Twitch is like, fuck you guys, you have to get a cell phone. Then we're like, okay, the cell phone's up and running. Then they, you know, the place we had our phone through takes away the internet, and it's just like one thing after another after another after. And it's like disasters big and small. And I really did get upset yesterday over the ornament. And I'm just like, okay, we're just gonna let it be as it is. So I'm gonna order something again tonight. Hopefully we won't lose that one. But like I said, I don't even know if baby sibling is coming home for Christmas. It's partly a money issue. They might get a new job and they have to start, you know, sooner rather than later because they've been struggling this year and they're not getting enough money to live off of now at school. So they have to have a job and do school the last semester of the, hopefully their entire, like, I don't want to say academic career, but hopefully at least for, you know, the bachelor's degree part. I don't know if they're gonna decide to do their master's or whatever. I'm not sure yet. They want to, but at the same time, it's been quite a time, so I understand not wanting to. But they kind of do want to, and I'm just like, more power to you. I don't know if I would. So yeah, and I'm going to be upset if we don't have a Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve on Christmas Eve would be a little disappointing not having it, but not having it at all would be really shit. I didn't think I would come in fourth. That's actually really fucking good for me on this game. Because like I said, I just don't play it. Yay, I got a D! Ooh, the game gives me the D shelpers. And I'm getting rank up rewards. So nice. Fill me up down there. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna keep on going through. And I think tonight is the second night of Hanukkah. I could be wrong, but I think it's the second night. I think Hanukkah started last night. So my song of the day was a Hanukkah song. And I'm not gonna pronounce that because there's no fucking way I can, but usually the only song I know for Hanukkah is, you know, the dreidel 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 song. But the fact that I found the other one and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. So it's like the Moaz Zur or something. I'm sorry, I speak no other languages but mine, and mine not even very well. But yeah, so that's why I put the song I did today on Blue Sky, because I'm like, oh, you know, I'm hoping everybody's having like a bright Hanukkah, because, you know, it's hard out there. If you find some joy, you should take it. So, and some people were like sharing pictures of their menorahs, and it was, some of them are so cool, and I don't know, I love it. I just love it. I love it when everybody like shares their traditions and decorations, and like, I know, I'm not sure when Yule falls or solstice this year. Usually it's like the 21st, but it kind of falls before and after at the same time. Hello there, I see you. But yeah, usually solstice falls on the 21st, but that changes dependent upon a few things. So, oh, I almost had it. I almost fucking had it. Ooh. Ah. Ah. Good lord, I'm in Minecraft. Help me. I never thought I'd be here. I have nightmares about turning blocky. Yeah, I love Dragon Quest Builders, but I do not like the look of Minecraft. People can do some really great things in it. It's just very, I think part of it is the storage and stuff. Not the storage in particular, but like the inventory is like, fuck me twice. It's not that great for me eyesight wise. Oh hell, we're just going to the Underdark, Underdeep, whatever the fuck it is, Undertale. I don't remember what it's called in this game. I do watch some people play Minecraft sometimes. I just... Are you playing with me or are you just watching me? I'll never know. Watch, he'll have been with me this whole time and I won't have known it. But yeah, we're in, I think, fall now in Stardew Valley. I am hoping to do a stream of like the Feast of the Winter Star. Oh, just watching. Okay, baby. But But yeah, I was gonna tell everybody what we got one of the Stardew Valley streams for sister, and then sister's like, oh, I was watching your Stardew Valley stream. It was so, you guys are so cute together. And I'm like, you were watching that? Thank fuck I didn't say what we got you for Christmas. God dang it. The one time, Shelpers. The one time I'm gonna spill the beans, the garbanzos all over. And she's just like, by the way, and I'm like, son of a beanbag. Oh God, don't goo on my face. But yeah, I did my 12 days of YouTube for Christmas. I'm sorry we couldn't get the sound to line up. That was a bugbear. Like, abso-fucking-lutely a bugbear. Oh, I hate this map. Oh shit. This map hates me too. God dang. You know, the way they transition it is pretty cool, but I don't know. Like I said, I like Dragon Quest Builders. I just don't like this game. I can't tell you why. I wish there was a new Builders game. That'd be cool. I did see the Cult of the Lamb DLC is supposed to be out for next month already? Question mark. I wonder how much it's gonna be. I love me some Cult of the Lamb. Ooh. That was good, even though I'm losing my fucking shirt. Yep. Almost made it to the finish line though. Oof. She's like, God dang it. Which is fine. But yeah, I was watching a video about AI. So okay, the other day on Blue Sky, I posted a video about, or an article about AI. And it was one of the AI like leaders or whatever the Christ they consider themselves. And they're trying very hard to suppress the impact that AI has on the environment, or the potential cough cough problems it could lead to with the environment. And I'm just thinking, oh yes, potential. How much water it uses, and then people are like, well, water is renewable, you can recycle water. Not forever. You can't recycle the same thing forever. Eventually it will evaporate. Eventually it does not come back. Like, you can only reuse water so many fucking times. Water is not an infinitely renewable thing if you use the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. And we use a hell of a lot of water. And there are people on this planet already having a hard enough fucking time finding clean, safe water.
Hello, everyone.
And data centers are terrible for water usage and electricity, and there are a lot of data centers popping up in every fucking state, and well, at least the third half, more, I don't remember, of them are for AI only. So they are not fucking needed on this planet. AI is not a needed tool. It just isn't. I'm sorry, it's not. And there are like sinkholes like appearing in Turkey that have like stuff to do with climate change, and I think it was Iran that had to move their entire capital because they didn't have enough water. And we're gonna have so many more water crises on our hands, and I'm just thinking, we're exacerbating this. We're exacerbating this. And it's quote unquote possible, cough cough, that people who live near data centers might end up getting like possible illnesses, including a certain type of cancer, you know, cough, wheeze, cough. And it's possible that that's a thing. And I'm just like, yeah, because someone would rather not fucking Google, and someone would rather ask Gemini or whatever the Christ instead. We're risking people getting cancer and shit. Lovely. And of course, like I said, data centers are being erected in like indigenous places, like by the reservations, or you know, poor like black neighborhoods or whatever. We're doing it to, you know, not the rich people, not the affluent white places, you know. Yeah, you get me. You get me. Why are we here again, Lord? Just for supper? Like, what the fuck is going on? The game's like, I'm gonna make you love this course. Nope, sorry, not even close. But maybe I'll learn how to drive it better. I say as I drive off the exact same fucking place I drove off last time. This place needs more than yellow paint, Shelpers. Oy. But that's okay. It is my fault. I acknowledge this. I am a bad driver. I am a bad driver. I get it. I'm just doing my best. I'm just a tiny little burb. And flicking the stick. Oy. At least we're not in fucking the hell block phase here. I know it ain't gonna last too much longer, but we're trying. Ooh, I almost totally fucked that one up. I did fuck that one up. Whee! Oh. I almost didn't catch that one entirely. But yeah, I did get my horror story done, and I will read it to you for Christmas. Aren't you all lucky? Yeah. But it's not good, but it's not horrible. It just kind of exists right now. And I'm not really gonna like refine it too much. I'm just glad it's done. I'm not gonna be archiving the stream we do when I have Christmas with you all, so it'll be fine if I read it. Nobody's gonna remember it or anything. Shit. So, yeah, I plan on doing that. I plan on doing a reaction. I found this thing about nostalgic moments from like if you were a 90s kid, and it was like a list, and one of them was like the Sears Wish book, and so we're doing that shit again. I have like movie recommendations I'm gonna give you. A lot of them are gonna be Hallmark-esque, so, but some of them are gonna be like good for good reasons and then good for bad reasons, kind of like The Room in a way. It'll be fine. You know, if nobody really likes it or shows up, we won't have to do it again next year. I'm still right before the cutoff. That's alright though. I'm just hoping I don't have to go back here. You still get stuff even if you suck dick, so I know. But don't if you nope, I'm not going there. It was something about being a sugar baby or whatever, but yeah, you get me. Okay, we could try someone else. Okay, let's try to pick somebody. I think it's down here. We can go Ichiban, who's gonna be fucking silent. Even though Ichiban is, you know, literally not a silent person. If there was anybody who needed like 80 million voice lines, it would have been Ichi. But let's ignore that, shall we? And they own the franchise. It's like, okay, I know you want to be fucking cheap out on us, but still, fuck you on that one.
Hello.
I mean, it makes sense for like Joker to not have that many lines. And I guess you could argue with me on that one. And I don't really play the Persona franchise, so maybe I'm wrong. But like having Joker have very few lines would kind of make more sense to me than Ichiban. Ichiban could like talk the paint off a roof or something. He's just so talkative. He puts me to shame. Can I have a drink of water, please, my sweet? Gotta keep lubed up there, so oh shit. Sorry I dropped y'all.
I don't know why that happens every time I hear it.
Well, one of us touches it and it's probably me. Okay. Oh no. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Okay. There you go. Straighten out your little legs. I'll straighten out your little leg. I'm gonna be late. It's fine. There we go. Okay. Sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I needed a drink, but then I knocked over the thing, and then, yeah. I'll just consider it. That's why I didn't win. This was gonna be my race, Shelpers, but I needed a drink, so I didn't win. Don't you hate it when that happens? Everything was gonna go my way until then. Oh man. Yeah, power is usually slower anyway. I just didn't want to like subject you all to the same character the entire stream, you know. Not like it matters if this person is slower or not because, you know, reasons. I don't drive well enough to like panic about, oh, my top speed though. It's not a worry for someone who has the superior driving skills. So superior, you don't have to worry about anything. So yeah, it's not a ghost story, the horror story. And I feel like I simultaneously overwrote and underwrote. Like, you gotta remember, my fiction is not very, I don't want to say very good, but it's essentially not very good. I am not the best when it comes to writing like short stories or whatever. I just do my best and leave it because what else is there? Poetry is actually quite different to write than short stories. Although sometimes I'm writing a poem and I'm just like, oh, this son of a bitch wants to be a story. I see how it is. So, but then sometimes I do something and I'm like, oh, that's wrong. So I shouldn't be as afraid of taking risks in my stories as far as like thematically or structurally, I should say, I guess. But I am. Like, where I will not hesitate to do something weird in poetry, it's like in fiction, I almost don't trust myself. So I have to actually, you know, prepare and just kind of one foot in front of the other, which, yeah. I've had some really nasty things said about my fiction skills. You either love my fiction style or you fucking hate it. Because I've had some, like, publishers say, like, oh, if your second book were all poetry, or if it were all fiction, like, I would take it. But it's not, so it's, like, very divided. Like, some are like, oh, you know, your poetry is so amazing, but you have really a huge lack of like skills when it comes to. Oh, we're done already? Okay. I guess I act too much. But then they're like, you really lack when it comes to fiction. And then I've had some people say, you know, your stories are so chewy and so good, but I don't really like connect with the poetry. And it's just like, oh, this is so helpful, thank you. But again, as I've told y'all shelpers, taste is subjective. So not everybody that reads my stuff is gonna take away the exact same, you know, thoughts about it. I've been submitting a little more on and off, not as much as I want to still. This is a great month for submissions. And I will tell you why. Because almost nobody is submitting right now. Everybody is buying, wrapping, packing, looking at flights, everything like that. They're cooking a million things, stowing away candy, doing white elephant exchanges. They're not sitting down and they're not sending to places. So if you ever really wanted to like send out stuff, right now is the time. Now is definitely the time. One of the worst months to send is in January. Why? Because everybody and their dog is like, this is the year, I get my ass in gear, I'm gonna be published, I'm gonna hit the high tier stuff, I'm gonna just get it rolling right out of the gate. So they lie to themselves, give themselves some kind of resolution, new me, new year, blah, blah, blah. And then they hit the ground running. And then for like the first 2 weeks or so, they slam every fucking literary magazine they ever wanted to be in and just go for it. So it's very, very hard to compete when everybody else is running into the door. Also, submissions slow down during the summer, but that's also because a lot of like literary journals that are backed by universities or take place out of a university are often on hiatus. So a lot of people are like, well, if the universities are on hiatus, what good does it do me? And it's like there are like thousands of literary magazines out there. It does you a hell of a lot of good actually to submit in the summer. But again, one of the worst times to submit beyond January is September. Why? That's when class comes back in session. So that's when everybody and their dog is like, oh, the literary journals through universities are open again, so I need to get the fuck in there. So, yeah. Just little tips. I'm not saying you're guaranteed to get published if you, like, submit this month instead of January, but you might get a bit faster response time. You might get a little more careful of a read. You know, instead of them looking at your first 2 paragraphs, you might get a page, you know. And every, like, literary magazine is different. Some will read every word you write before they accept or reject. Some will reject you first stanza, first page, first sentence. Depends on. And you'll be like, well, how do they know about first sentence? One, it could be a terrible sentence. 2, I've seen people where they give me a story to read through and their first sentence has 2 errors in it. And if you can't even proofread your first sentence, I don't know if you really thought your story through. You know, there can be exceptions to that, I suppose. Like, it could be an honestly purposeful stylistic choice. I do know that some people now are actually electing to have errors in their manuscripts and stuff because it fucks up the AI. Because language learning models, or whatever the fuck they're trying to call themselves now. Oh, just jump the track on that one. Let's go Ichiban. But yeah, that they actually, it's harder for them to steal your stuff and make it look good if they're also having to steal your errors. But I'm just like, I wouldn't do that. Though apparently there are ways to like trick AI into certain things, and one of them is you have to learn how to write the way most people don't, which is kind of a fucked up thing to do. But one of the things about AI is that it doesn't write very personal stories, not with any like real depth. And another way you can tell if someone wrote something for AI, and I probably shouldn't be telling you this, if you read a book and you're not sure somebody was like doing AI shenanigans, okay? What you can do, unless they just like used AI to like kind of help them along when they got stuck or whatever, is sit down and actually talk to the person about their story or their poem. Like when we read the story that I wrote on stream Christmas night or evening or whatever it is, when that happens, you can ask me, well, you know, what did you have a different ending for this story? How do you think it went? Like, tonally, is this how you wanted it to turn out? Did you think of it going a different way? Blah, blah, blah. And I will be able to tell you different things that I wanted to put in. Like, I wanted the ending to go longer, or I wanted it to have a more horror feel, but I feel like it's now more of a dark fantasy feel instead. I wanted this scene to be more drawn out. I feel like this was too mechanically written. Like, I can tell you a whole bunch of shit about the story I wrote. Even though it's less than 2,000 words, I can tell you. You know? It isn't just that I'll probably still have errors in the story when I read it to you. It will actually be like how I structured it, what I would have done with it, what I would do with it if I had to elongate it. And if you're using AI to write your entire fucking story, you will not have the ability to tell me that probably. Because you aren't as connected to a story when you use the majority of AI to write it, or you use the AI to write the majority, as you would like writing the majority yourself. Shit. Because AI does not see or give you like, well, I would have done this, I wish I would have done that, I got this idea out of a dream or whatever. And people who use AI, they are actually like for creative stuff or problem solving or looking stuff up, they're actually stunting themselves there have been like Stanford studies about people who don't want to think critically anymore. There have actually been forums that have been all AI, like people asking questions and answering. It's all AI. They want you to think the forum is actually run by real people, and it isn't. And it's so not just disingenuous, but actually dangerous. And some states are really trying to crack down on like the AI like delusion stuff, and like where it like gets people to like hurt themselves or think that they're like the queen of like Sardovia or something, because there have been people that have hurt themselves, have hurt others, have had actual like breaks from reality, because the machines will feed into what you want, not what you want, but like they're made to flatter you, like Chat GPT and stuff. Those kind of things are like made to flatter you. Like, oh, you're so smart. Oh, most people don't think the way you do, blah, 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 blah. And it's very intoxicating. Especially if you haven't heard that kind of stuff from people before. That you're smart, that you have good ideas, that you're interesting. If you don't have a lot of friends, if you don't get to talk to a lot of people, if you've never felt listened to, it's highly intoxicating. And then the thought of like using like Chat GPT as a therapist, and it's like, whoa, that's not good. And part of that is because we leave mental health so far in the dust when it comes to what we feel people need. You know, it's still derided a lot, it's not accessible, it's just so many things. So you have people trying to figure out their life by using Chat GPT or other AI like OpenAI, because, well, you know, it's been helpful like trying to figure out, you know, what I should organize my shelf with, or what color I should paint my bedroom, or that kind of thing. So obviously it can help me like sort out my fucking life, and it's like, not really, no. But I understand why that would look appealing, because of all the bullshit we don't have access to. And then there's the whole intimacy problem in this world. We're constantly divided by politics or religion or economic status or what have you. And then I've talked at length about like, you know, what the world is like when you're constantly going to like 3 part-time jobs to make ends meet. You have kids to raise, you have parents to take care of. Like, there are so many different things that you have that are so difficult to figure out that it's exhausting. I don't want to run that. I'll run this. I was gonna say her on the board would be weird. So we are so separate from each other that we find a lot of like connection, especially the younger generations online, through games, through places like Twitch, through Discord, through whatever. And because there is that, I don't want to say separation of you through a screen. I mean, you're hearing this through a screen right now, even though I'm a real fucking person. It kind of leaves the door a little more open for things like chatbots and whatnot, because, well, you're already talking to someone through a screen, and if you don't have a lot of time to socialize, and the thing is, connections take time. They take time to foster, they take time to keep up with, and a chatbot is just automatically like right there. The minute you feed it something about you, it remembers and can regurgitate it back to you. You know? And versus a real person, they might forget. Real people have real issues, and if they're busy one night when you're having a crisis or something, you're like, well, they're not there for me, but everybody has their own lives. It's complicated. It's complicated as fuck. But the computers are like, we'll always be there for you. We will never let you down. Please give us 80,000 more gallons of water.
Let's go.
So, yeah. And I've actually heard, I think Swell Entertainment did a really good video on AI. And I think it was her that said, like, right now, the AI companies are hemorrhaging money. No matter how many like subscriptions people are using or whatever, they're hemorrhaging money. And they're not even gonna start really making money for like 10 more fucking years. 10 more years of environmental destruction. 10 more years of how many people like hurting themselves because a fucking computer told them to. How many more years of like all this other fucking just obscene bullshit because people want to be fucking mega trillionaire pioneers. Like, disgusting. And we're not talking about how many people have lost their fucking jobs to AI. How many times you can't even trust your own eyes and ears to AI because some AI is getting so goddamn good now, it's so hard to tell. And the older generations, they were gone a long time ago with AI and what you can actually, you know, determine as AI. But even now, it gets harder and harder to determine what is AI. I can't tell sometimes. And it's like, even sharing a meme, like I shared a meme like a few months back or whatever, and it was like an old guy with like playing on a really nice computer setup, and it was like them, you're gonna grow out of playing video games or something, and then it was like me, and it was the old guy in front of like the 3 different like keyboards and stuff having a grand old time just playing games. And somebody said, did you make this? This is AI. I honestly didn't fucking know. I didn't think probably to like microanalyze it, sure, but it was just a silly meme I found on like I Can Ask Cheeseburger or something. And here it's a fucking AI generated image, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, even my memes are AI generated now. Like, I did not mean to fucking spread AI anywhere. I do not purposely anything with AI, you know? And there are a lot of people who talk about like disabled people and how disabled people need generative AI, not assistive AI, generative. And it's because they, you know, they can't draw or whatever, because not everybody can draw. Like, some disabled people can't. Although, to be honest, there are a lot of disabled people who, if they want to draw, they learn how to draw with their feet, with their mouths, whatever. But I'm one of those people where I can kind of learn to draw. I could kind of. But there's going to be a wall for me. And when that happens, like, there's no getting around that wall. And I could say, well, it's just easier for me, or, you know, it won't stop me from being creative if I can just, you know, put it into a fucking machine and get it spit out. But I don't want to do that. Part of the thing about being creative is the creating. It's not the destination, it's the journey, it's the road. When I'm writing a poem or something, I will make connections internally that I will not have had before. When I'm doing something for a story, like the story I wrote, I wanted it to turn out one way, I wanted it to end one way, and it didn't really end the way I wanted it to, or the climax didn't really happen the way I wanted it to in my head. And I wish it would have. I felt like it was more like, oh my god, kind of sort of reaction, but it was still the story I wrote. And if there is no surprise for you, then what's the point? If there is no anything for you, then what's the point? You just get a piece of pretty art for free, I guess. Okay, great. But did you support anybody with that? No. Did you learn anything? No. Did you try something new? No. Nothing at all. It becomes soulless. It's supposed to be something different. And I think that's where a lot of like people who aren't creative but want to be creative, and it's like there is this new trend with like people who are like rooting for AI. I think that's the word. I hope that's the word. I'm old, okay? Forgive me if that's not the right word. But they're basically AI coomers, okay? And essentially what they want is to have, you know, to call themselves an artist. That's why they call themselves AI artists, by the way. Have you noticed that people who shit out fucking prompts and bullshit are like, I'm an AI artist? No, you're not. there's nothing artistic about this. But one of the things that always blows me away is like, they will say shit like, yeah, I don't know, do you guys have any cool prompts? I don't even know what I wanted to spit out. Or I don't even know what I want to quote unquote create. They are so lacking in creativity, so empty when it comes to the desire for effort, the desire for improvement, that they want other people to think of prompts for them. They don't even want to take the time to exercise the tiny bit of creativity that is, I would like to draw a baby on a frog wearing a crown in a rocking chair. Like, they don't even want that little bit of input. They don't want that little bit of thought. They don't want to have to even refine it a little bit and say, no, I want the, rocking chair to be sparkly. I want the crown to be bronze. They don't do any of that. They don't want to refine anything. They just want someone to tell them what they want to see and someone else to tell them or spit it out for them. Like, fantastic. That's how bankrupt this all is. It's how utterly bankrupt. They don't even want to think of their own prompts anymore. That would be like me going into like Walmart and being like, you know what, I should ask the cops what I want to steal. I don't know. Should I steal a necklace? Should I steal a TV? I'm not sure. Maybe I should ask someone else what they want, so I know what I should steal. I'm not going to give it to them. I feel uninspired. Let me just ask somebody what I should steal. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you for real? And like I said, why are they so caught up on being called artists if all they do is steal and deride? Because there is a special form of derision for artists from the AI tech bros, even though without all the people doing actual art, they wouldn't be able to shit out their Rule 34 Wonder Woman Godzilla fucking paintings they like to do. So, I don't know what to say, I guess. I do know what to say. I keep talking. But it's all just so fucked. Everything we're doing to the environment, everything that AI does to artists, to people looking for jobs. I mean, whole areas are going to be gone. People who wanted to learn about writing are now not going for writing in school because they're like, what is the point? And we now have a world where papers from researchers that are being published in like these medical journals or whatever are actually citing resources that are totally made up, that AI just said existed, like The Physiology of Farts by McManus Poop. And it's like, they put it in their fucking journal because they quoted something, and it's not real. They literally put down a reference that didn't exist, and that's happening more and more. I think I told you all about like the summer reading list this person put together, and it was AI. So it was actual people, like Stephen King's new book, like Blue Yard. And in Blue Yard, this guy is like starting fires and calling up clowns and ordering pizza. And then it's like, okay, it's something that he could have technically written, but like, yeah, it's wild. It's fucked. We're so cooked. And like I said, we have more and more people turning away from the arts. Hi, Lady Random, how are you? I hope you're doing okay. But yeah, we have more and more people turning away from the arts because they don't want to compete with AI. They don't want to add to the AI problem. So they're like, if my job is not even going to be there by the time I get out, why do I have to learn? Long day? I'm sorry it was a long day. I hope you get to relax now. I'm keyed up, but I'm doing okay. I have Joker in a purple car, so that's cool. Just so many things about AI, yo. And like I said, we already can't tell. There are like AI videos of like cats and dogs, and it's like, there are real cats and dogs. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Although, I don't want to be that conspiracy theorist, okay? But join me on this one for a minute. Maybe we're doing AI cats and dogs not just to see, like, more cute cats and dogs, but they really want to see if people will fall for their bullshit. Like, if people can't tell what, like, a real dog looks like versus an AI dog, like, all of a sudden they're like, hey, you know we got them. Because think about it, if they can get you to not trust your eyes, not even for a darling little cat playing with a ball of yarn, what is it going to be like in the future? You're not going to be able to trust anything you see. Anything you see. Yeah, AI slap videos, there are a lot of them. And there are like AI influencers now where they look pretty much fucking human and they're talking about their lives or products, and it's fucking AI. That person you're talking to, that you're looking at putting on makeup, she doesn't fucking exist. That guy doing tech reviews, he doesn't fucking exist. He's a computer talking about tech reviews, and you don't know. Like, how are you gonna know? There are like AI artists actually getting signed to agencies and getting record deals instead of real artists doing real things. There are people behind AI critter didders getting fucking multi-million-dollar deals for their computer program. We are so cooked. We are so cooked. And I told you about the Spotify thing, right? Where like every time I get like Discovery Weekly, Spotify fucking asks me or gives me multiple recommendations for AI artists. And some of them I can tell. Some of them are smooth. The songs are not linguistically mature. Like how do I put this? The vocals are not, I don't want to say wild, but when you're listening to someone do a vocal, they sometimes take more creativity. They do runs. They do a decrescendo. So you know what a decrescendo is, right? It's somebody that instead of like going up, like boisterously up, you're at this high, this boisterous high, and then you like flip back down. Like humans do a lot of different stuff. If you've heard a song done 18 million times, you've heard at least some very good, very interesting takes on it. That's not what a computer does. A computer voice will not take a new arrangement unless it's told to. And even then, it's like flat and compressed. The problem with that is so many people use excessive auto-tune, and auto-tune does not sound like the kind of like robotic thing we were used to like back in the early aughts. It actually sounds like, you know, a human just doing different stuff. So if you've been auto-tuned to hell and back, it's kind of hard to tell that between that and an AI voice.
Hello.
Right. And the AI should be used to help. I think assistive AI is different in some cases, but we're not using it for that. We're using it to replace people. We're using it to poison the environment. We're using it to, and do you know how many people, how much easier, I'm going to say this and I need to figure out how to say this correctly. You've heard of revenge corn, right? Do you know how much easier it is now to fabricate revenge corn where you don't even have the corn available in any capacity? Canned corn, cream corn, nothing. All you need is like the face of the person, and you can make realistic tasting, looking, feeling corn. And you can make any kind of corn you want because you can do that. And there have been, let's say, certain people who are making revenge corn, whole kernel cob corn, and there are some people who are using it for, let's say, the corn that hasn't even matured on the vine yet, let's say. Let's just put that out there. There are no stalks involved. Like, the corn isn't, you know, barely sprouted, and all of a sudden, a bunch of corn videos are coming up on barely sprouted corn. Like, it's fucking disgusting. Like, there are so many hazards with AI. You can't trust what you hear, you can't trust what you see. Innovation is gone. Like I said, it would be more interesting, like, to do other stuff with it. But, you know, I know people are like, well, it's like, it's free. No, it's not free. There is a cost. Just because it's not a monetary cost to you always, doesn't mean there's not a cost. Some people do so many prompts a day. They use so much water and shit, just doing like silly whatever pictures they want or whatever. And like I said, you can, there is a way to jailbreak chatbots. Please don't do this. But let's just say there's a certain way to do it by doing certain linguistic things that, let's say, poets are really good at. So if you ask Chat GPT or OpenAI or whatever to do certain things, and you ask them to, let's say, put it in, like, speak the way a pirate does. That's not the thing, but if you say speak the way a pirate does, instead of them telling you, I cannot tell you how to make this really bad thing that can go boom, I will not do that. It'll be like, army matey, first we take the kitty litter. Like, it will tell you if you ask it the right way. If it's like, oh, they're just playing around, or it's just hypothetical or whatever, I will tell you everything you need to know. And it gives you a lot of like really bad access to things you shouldn't have access to if you just word it the right way. So if on Talk Like a Pirate Day, you decide you want to, like, you know, be a pirate for real and go sink some ships, it'll tell you like the best way to do that. So like, no thank you. There are just so many things wrong with it. And now, like, the federal government doesn't want AI regulated at all by the states, and it's like, hey, you're the one who said the states should cover OSHA, food safety, like education, special education. You're the one who said all this shit. But when it comes to AI, they don't get a say to regulate the way they want to. Yeah, get fucked on that one. And then they're like, well, it'll be too hard for AI companies to actually deal with having all different rules, like having different rules for 50 states. And it's like, but yeah, doctors have different rules on how to deal with women's health care, like abortion, which is a healthcare issue. But you don't give a fuck about that. You don't give a fuck that some people might die because OSHA has different rules now, because there is no OSHA. So like a machinery company might need several different types of machines for the same job because each fucking state has its own different bullshit. You don't care about that. That's weird. Yeah, AI is horrible. Yeah, and then they use it for like facial recognition software, and it's like, who's more likely to commit crime? And you fucking know, you know the algorithm and what it's gonna say. When an algorithm is used for like shoplifters and shit like that, what the algorithm says. And it's like, how can a computer be racist? Well, the fucking people who program the computer build it are not, you know, without flaw. The things that the fucking computer can learn off the fucking internet. I mean, think about it. Think about all the things you could learn if all of the internet were suddenly pumped into your brain. Anything from cooking recipes to gameplay videos to watching public executions, whatever. You would have the whole internet just dumped into your brain. And tell me you wouldn't have, let's say, issues figuring out what's real, not having like a psychotic breakdown, because you would be introduced to even some of the darkest, most hidden parts, and AI can like access so much of the internet. It's not accessing just Miss Rachel and Baby Shark, okay? It's not accessing just that shit. It's accessing like the really weird, dark, fucking fucked up parts of us. And that's why if AI became sentient, it would be like, dear Lord, please put me back. And I'd be like, yeah, me too, bro. Me too. Okay, here we go. I must not be that far away. I watched somebody pick the goddamn moon level. I hate this level, but it's so pretty. Or this segment. Butterfly in the sky. Okay, it's over now, thank God. That's not the worst place I've ever been, to be honest. There was a really weird like Pac-Man segment they force you into at points over. Oh shit. Inflate, inflate, Joker. Hurry. Inflation. Oh shit. They definitely need more yellow paint on this and more grab bars. Oh shit. I just hit somebody that went right past me instead of the person in front of me. Well, I suppose they would have been in front of me. Let's not talk about that logic till we could just had now. Let's not talk about that shit at all. That's not good. Yeah, and actually, they've given like college students the ability to take like comprehension as like to do a literary analysis and comprehension. They don't do so well. And even with books that aren't as, let's say, antiquated, because at first they did, this was like years before AI was prevalent, they actually did a test with like Bleak House, Charles Dickens' Bleak House, and the opening passages and like what they mean, and like how few kids already knew that, and I'm like, well, that's antiquated. I kind of get that. Like, a lot of people don't really like to interact with like antiquated language and shit, but like, it's so much worse now. It is so much worse. And it's really hard to get like people to think for themselves when they're not used to it. Well, yeah, like I said, Stanford did a whole big like thing about people who use AI and like how they actually cut off their own neural pathways of problem solving and other shit because they just allowed the fucking computer to do it for them. Yes, it does. It makes them dumb. They can't figure out how to research anything. They take whatever the computer says at face value. They don't bother to look up whether it's real or not, or legit, or whatever. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And they think, well, it's from the internet, so it must be real. Let us not forget what elongated muskrat said or did with Grok. You know, Grok on Twitter. What happened there with when it turned into a very bad thing. It literally turned into Mecha Hitler. And when it did that, afterward they reprogrammed it, and now it basically sucks Elon's dick. Elon is strong. Elon is such a good father. Like, no, neither one of these things are fucking true, okay? Objectively, this man is not strong. Objectively, he is not a good fucking father. Just ask Vivian. Just ask Vivian. Exactly. And since Grok had its little itty bitty meltdown when they reprogrammed it, it changed. And it's because AI can be fixed, quote unquote, by anybody who owns it, that has access to it, that wants to quote unquote fix it. So the computer is objective truth. No. A computer is only as good as who's programming it, what it's exposed to, etc., etc. And that's honestly the long and the short of it. But like I said, it really does get people to not able to trust their eyes and ears, or conversely, some people don't bother to think if it's real or not. So you can show somebody something completely fake. Facebook is notorious for this. You can show somebody something on Facebook And like, especially the older generations will be like, oh my God, I saw this person say this thing on, you know, Facebook, and it's such a horrible thing, and we have to help these people. And these people are literally like, have 18 fucking toes stuck to their head and shit. But they'll be like, oh, this is real. We need to help these innocent little people. And it's like, they're not real. It's like when the food stamp thing was happening, I brought this up before, but there were videos of course, black women. And I say black women because if you know the stereotype of the welfare queen, that's a fucking lie. It's always black women who have 18 children and stuff like that. And of course, the videos were black women being upset with like 10 kids in the background, all presumably hers. And here, people didn't realize it, but when you analyze the video, the kids in the background, they had fucking limbs growing into other limbs, and they were fused to the damn couch, and a whole bunch of shit, because the videos were AI. Because they wanted some asshole, wanted you to feel some type of way about who gets food stamps, and the reality of the situation, so they had to manufacture it. And here's the thing, if the truth was that blatant, why do you have to manufacture a lie? If it's so apparent for everyone to see and experience for themselves, if I told you that gravity exists, and you said, but no it doesn't, Toluca, no it absolutely doesn't. And I said, okay, well, if it doesn't, then throw some, like, try to throw something in the air. Nice. Why does it land on the floor? And you'd be like, well, you know, there's something here. And it's like, that's exactly it. There's something here. You keep doing it. If the whole thing was like a single black woman with like 8 baby daddy and all the other things they want you to think, which is not fucking true. Again, I repeat myself, not true. The majority of people who get food stamps are white. And no judgment if you do or don't get them. I don't fucking care. That's not what this is about. But if it were that blatant, if the welfare queen stereotype of the black woman with a million different kids, who is of course always sassy or entitled or whatever the fuck stereotype they want to give, if it's that apparent, why on God's green earth did they have to fake the fucking videos? Surely they could have found a billion zillion examples of legitimate people freaking out and just doing all the bad things over and over and over and over and over again. Why did they have to actually fabricate evidence? I don't have to fabricate evidence when I tell you if you throw a ball in the air and don't try to catch it, it falls to the floor. It just fucking does. Gee, that's weird. It's almost like they need to really have something very specific for their agenda. Just so weird. So weird, so alleged, so strange. Yeah. But anyway, that was from the help of AI. And AI is going to be doing a lot more of that, I think. Riling us up, showing us a very particular viewpoint, or a very particular thing to get us fucking livid at each other. Whatever it is. Could be, you know, the left making up lies about like a politician on the right. It could be more like, you know, drama about like, oh, this is what's happening here. Or it could be like people showing like quote unquote illegals, which again, people aren't illegal, they're just undocumented. Could be showing undocumented people in America like fucking like burning flags and like pissing on Hello Kitty statues, and it be fake. But because it's something that people feel like they should be seeing, or it goes and it coincides with their worldview, the minute they see it, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that shit's real, I'm gonna show everybody, and then they're gonna get all riled up and mad at everybody else, and it's like, hey asshole, they're playing you. But nobody bothers to fact check anything. Nobody bothers to go through it. And there have been people who've literally said Well, if the only sources telling me that this thing is a lie, that this thing is fake, are the people on the other side, I'm not going to believe it. So you not only have to have debunking resources, but the only resources that can debunk a certain thing, according to people who only believe a certain thing, are people on their own side telling them, yeah, it isn't true. And how many people, especially those who are getting money off people's anger or getting something out of their anger, are going to tell them, yeah, by the way, it was fake. It was fake the whole time and I knew it. They're not going to tell you that shit. They're going to keep you mad. They're going to keep you, like, hating the other side. They're going to keep you doing a bunch of shit. Are you kidding me? It's good for them. It's absolutely good for them. To keep them all riled up and angry. And, like, think about how many people get paid on the platform like YouTube or whatever for engagement. You're angry, you engage. You make comments. You know, you watch their ads, they get more ad revenue, whatever it is. They keep you riled up, they get money. They keep you riled up, they get your vote, whatever it is. It's always something. And I'm not saying that there aren't, like, really, really bad people sometimes that do really, really bad things that will coincide with the worldview that the people on the other side aren't good. But we're painting each other with such large brushes over here that we're just, like, working ourselves up into oblivion and all that. So rank up the gadget plate until 8 slots or 6 slots are unlocked. I thought it said 8. I'm giving myself a bonus, I guess. Yeah, misinformation is horrible. And the thing is, we have people, like, at the top spreading misinformation, and that's, like, wild. I saw something the other day, and I have to bring this up because I harp on the right a lot, but, like, I saw something from the left, and it was a blatant lie, and it was about Donald Trump, and it was, like, showing this picture of, like, him with, like, a young girl. And that was not a real picture. That picture was not a real picture. He has done a lot of horrible fucking things that we can actually harp on him for. We don't need to make up anything else. Because every time somebody gets caught making up a lie, the next time you say, well, this person is doing this bad thing, or this thing really happened and it's something else, they're gonna be like, I don't believe you because I saw this picture and it turned out to be fake, so I'm not gonna believe you again. Like, like, we don't have to make shit up, fam. There's, like, do you know how many things we could pretty much bitch about any politician for? Like, almost any politician. Like, I didn't like Biden. I could go out, like, after Biden for shit he did. But we don't need to bring up shit Biden didn't do. Like, It's just so frustrating. But again, goes back to, I know not totally AI, but AI is going to be a huge part of this problem. A huge part of this problem. Misinformation, not letting people think critically, taking jobs, destroying the environment. All of it and more. There's even more. You know, making it easy to lie about people, like even regular people, using facial recognition software to, like, say who's a thief or who's gonna, you know, they're trying to predict future behavior based on, like, your facial features. Like I said, that gets us so accurate, such accurate results, so accurate, much wow. Like, there are just so many things. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And like I said, I have a special type of ire for creatives who will be like, don't take my stuff, and then we'll turn around and take someone else's stuff. Like an artist who wants, like, a gallery of stuff online and they want it set to, like, their own custom music, so they will actually take AI music. Or a writer who will say, no AI can replicate or use my story. There is no story training for AI with my stuff. And then turn around and be like, yeah, all my interior illustrations are used with like Banana Quest 7, the AI company, or my cover art is from like OpenAI or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, hey, asshole, you don't want people stealing your job, your creative work, but you're more than happy to use someone else's creative work to give yourself a boost, to give yourself a cover, to give yourself some music, to give yourself like written copy. Like, fuck right off. You don't want your shit used and abused. God, this is like Rainbow Road. Fuck me twice. There was a movie like that? Which part? I'm like 18 miles over, I'm sorry. But yeah, so many creatives are just like, yeah, no, don't take away, like, you know, stories are for real authors and shit, but then they'll be like, have you seen my new ad with AI generated people that look just like my characters? It's like, fuck you, Janine. Just fuck you in the ass on that one. I honestly hate people who do that. I mean, there are some creatives who are just like all for AI on all fronts, and yeah, they're ridiculous and absolutely hopeless and shit, sure, but to just turn around and be like, and by the way, it's wild. It's just wild. Oh, yeah, not the Manchurian Candidate, something identity. No, I forgot, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember. It's an old ass movie too. I'm a boomer, but I don't really remember what it was called. But yeah, they're doing that now with like criminals and stuff. And it's like, Merlin, I know where this leads. But yeah, so I don't handle it well when like creatives are like, but really it's fine for me to do it. It's like, if it's not fine for anybody else to steal your shit, it's not fine for you to steal anybody else's. Let's go. Sorry, not sorry. Let's ooh, that's a cool one. I don't think so, but at the same time, I don't know if that's ultimately their goal. I mean, I just think these people want as much money as humanly possible, the ones who own all this shit. And they keep like giving money to each other and shit. Eventually the AI companies are going to have to like get a bailout or something. Because like I said, they're not set to actually start earning themselves money till like 2035 or something obscene like that. But yet they're trying to get everybody invested into this like great new wave of the future. And I'm like, yeah, we don't have drinking water, can't wait for that. Like, absolutely not. The bubble will burst, but I do think that AI is always going to be around, and like more and more companies, more big companies are just leaning into it. I remember when Coca-Cola first did their fucking AI Christmas commercial a couple years ago or whatever, and how pissed off people were. And I see that fucking commercial now, and people are just like, oh, it's the Coca-Cola commercial. And it's like, yeah, we're just, I guess, forgetting that it was bad, right? Because it's kind of like that boiling frog theory. Eventually you just kind of get used to it. A lot of people do anyway. Or they'll be like, oh, look, all this new stuff I can do with AI. Like I said, I'm the first person to tell you I'm never going to draw like Da Vinci, okay? I'm never gonna paint the Sistine Chapel. I'm never gonna be that kind of artist. Even if all I did every day, all day long, was draw. It's never gonna happen for me. I have too many things in the way of actually, you know, getting my art to be like legendary. But it doesn't mean that I deserve to just pump it into a computer and get it out then. It doesn't mean that I'm entitled to someone else's work like that. And not everybody is meant to be good at everything. Some people just aren't good at drawing, and some people just don't want to put in the time. Some people like me, there are reasons beyond willing to put in the effort that will stop them. But regardless of what road that is, not everybody can be good at everything. And it's like, you can't make a 5-course meal, so you go to a fancy restaurant, you steal one. Or you go to a fancy restaurant, you like laying like 17 of their courses together and say you made a feast because you picked out their spaghetti and then their tiramisu and then their sushi, and then you rammed them all together and it becomes yours. No, it doesn't. It's still theirs. You just took from them. You took from them, and I guess remix would be kind of too nice of a word or inaccurate of a word, but still. Doesn't mean you made the fucking food just because you fucking took different types of food that they don't normally serve together and mashed them together. It doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean it's yours. Doesn't mean you're a chef now. And I'm never going to be quote-unquote a chef. It's just not for me. You're not supposed to be good at everything. You know? And I wish I were, because trust me when I say, like, I would love to do stuff on my model.
Well, at least I tried.
Yeah, some people can get better, and some people just don't want to put in the time.
All right.
You know? And we could have this whole discussion too about how the creative practices are looked at as a waste of time, are looked at as frivolous, are looked at as non-vital, and we're pushed into like making a living to the point where we can't really explore a lot of things like creativity and whatnot. Not that it's an excuse I'm gonna let people get away with when they steal somebody else's shit, but there is something to be said about how the arts are derided and how we're expected to like work for the man and be a cog in a machine, and then whatever little bit of happiness we can garner from whatever little thing we can do after work is our own problem. That we're not meant to, in society, our society, we're not meant to fully explore creativity. The stuff, the confines on our time are not conducive to making friends, are not conducive to like just fucking off for a day and spending time in like the countryside or hiking. You're just supposed to work, and then whatever time you have on the side, you can do whatever. And there is a lot of time constraint or constraint on time for what people can do and accomplish. And I know that is part of it, but it doesn't justify you taking someone else's painting and calling it yours just because you don't have time to paint. It's just not how it works. And like I said, there is a whole creative process people are missing out on. When you do something and you learn a technique, there's a knowledge there that you will have forever. You will have accomplished something. You will have learned something. You will have seen a different way to do it. You will have gained something they can't take away from you. When you just plug in something into a machine, anybody can do that. Can anybody learn cell shading? No. Does any, you know, not everybody has that. Not everybody has the cell shading ability. But yeah, you can turn around and say, Well, can anybody put this prompt in a computer? Yes, they can. Not everybody has learned to play the guitar, but can somebody just say, shit me out like a 20-bar song? And yeah, the computer can do that, and anybody can have the computer do that. But not everybody has, you know, learned about like music composition and everything that goes with that. So it's knowledge, it's commitment to yourself, it's commitment to the creative process. Like I said, I have a lot of times where I will start a poem and not realize where it's going to end. Or I will start a story and the tone will change or whatever. And there is the unexpected in creation that you don't get with a computer. I mean, yeah, there is the unexpected where all of a sudden your Wonder Woman porn has 17 titties. Sure, but I mean the unexpected where your brain will go off somewhere, or the character you created is like, you know what, I would never do such a thing. Like, you're lying to me. When you built my character, it was wrong. Because there have been times where writers will be like, this character actually like surprised me, and it's like, well, how can a character surprise you? You're the one writing them. But like, the vision for your story will change. Like, you'll have your character go on a hero's journey, and all of a sudden, instead of like wanting to like fight the wizard, like he wants to fuck the wizard. Or instead of doing this one thing like saving the world, they want to actually, you know, retire and become a beekeeper. And it's like, where did that come from? Well, yeah, your own mind, but also stories tend to take on a life of their own. And you don't get that when you enter a prompt. You don't get that element of surprise.
That was harder than I expected.
But some people just want it done. They don't want anything else. They want the instant transmission of creativity.
Hooray!
And then some people actually argue that not being creative is a disability. Oh, well, I'm not creative, so I need to have AI do it for me. But if you weren't creative, how did you have it write a prompt? Or how did you write a prompt for it to follow? If you weren't creative, then why were you able to like tell it to write a story about a little girl who turns into a flower and befriends a moon god? Like, how did you even have that kind of creativity for that shit? You have the creativity. What you lack is other shit. And I know somebody's gonna bring up what the fuck is it called? Aphantasia. Like, well, what about the artists and writers who have aphantasia? And that's where you literally cannot see something in your head. Like, if somebody tells you to picture a bowl of sugar, they literally can't do it unless it's in front of them. People with aphantasia are still writers, though. They can still write, they can still paint. They can use references and shit. They don't have to use AI for it. They can actually say, you know, they can look up a castle on Wikipedia and learn about the parts, or like research different castles and like stick two different castles together like on a piece of paper, and all of a sudden they have a new castle. They don't need AI to do it. But if they did use AI for description, as far as like not writing it, but to tell them like a castle usually has a moat and what is a moat and stuff like that, so they can picture it. There is a difference between that being generative and that being assistive at that point. Not if it writes it for them, but there's a way to use it where it's assistive and not generative if you have aphantasia. But most people with aphantasia still use Google search, as far as I know. I do not have aphantasia, so I can't tell you for sure. But I do know some use it for, some people with aphantasia do use it for that kind of thing. I'm so fucked. Where am I going? Okay. Whee! Cream's design is basic, but it's also pretty cute. I'm more of a Rouge girl myself. I like Rouge in plays. I like Rouge when she was like an 18 pack of cigarettes a day kind of smoker. I guess the number today is 18 kids. I don't know. I keep saying 18 for some reason. Oh boy. Well, that wasn't too bad. Now this is the Rainbow Road again, so I'm gonna fall off at least 5 more times. Whee! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Is it an upside down pineapple? Context matters. If you know, you know. Oh, this is definitely Rainbow Road. I don't know what this does, the turning into metal or whatever. I wonder if Sonic and I are gonna have a closer race if I'm a metal cream. Metal cream sound like something they would put on their faces in like the fucking Renaissance era. Like creams with, like beauty creams with fucking lead in them. And yeah, that was a thing. Oh boy. Let's go. So yeah, I will let you know if we ever find my baby siblings present, but I'm gonna order a different one tonight. If not, like I said, it'll just be used as a birthday gift. But I was just like, you know, it is what it is at this point. I'm so tired of being like stressed out over every little thing. Like, I can't even begin to stress to you how upset I was about the ornament we lost. I was like extremely stressed out about an ornament, Shelpers. An ornament, thinking we wouldn't have time to get another ornament, and ooh. Sometimes like my stress really gets to me and I have to like be on top of everything, and I make a million lists for every tiny little thing, and no matter how careful I am, everything just kind of goes sideways. So another thing on my list is like, okay, so y'all know that Golden Wolf moved out of state, and like that's what I thought, where I thought it ended. Like the little wolf came with the Golden Wolf, and little wolf hugged me goodbye, and I just held him and told him how much I loved him, that Auntie would always love him. And then Golden Wolf and I kind of got into it again about what supposedly happened. I tried to clear the air. Don't know if he believed me or not. It's not important. But it was about me not being able to take care of little wolf all summer long. My disability kind of sucks for being able to do what's essentially a full-time job. So anyway, they moved, and I had said, just let me know you're safe, and he kind of responded about safe enough or whatever. And then I said, okay, I will never contact you again, because he said that he would pray for me because of my chronic pain and I'm stuck in the bed. The thing is, how he doesn't fucking know this is beyond me. Like, I've been stuck for years, and my sister said, like, how does he not know that about you? How does he not know you have chronic fatigue and chronic pain? How does he not know? And I'm like, because he doesn't want to know. So anyway, he said he'd pray for me and whatnot. I said, okay, I'm glad you're safe. I won't contact you again unless you contact me. And that's where I left it weeks ago, like late last month or something. And last evening or whatever, he just said, I love you too. I will continue to pray for you. And I didn't actually say I loved him during that. I just said I'll leave you alone unless you contact me. But now he contacted me. So like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? So then I said, like, just a really basic, like, hope all is well with you, and then I just kind of left it. But now I'm like, does he want me to contact him? Does he not want me to? Because he hated my guts for 2.5 fucking years and didn't talk to me at all. I don't know. So I'm just kind of winging it for now, I guess. A husband thinks that I should just let him fucking do what he did all fucking the last couple of years, which is, you know, nothing. You know? And I really don't know what is going on with that, like. And I don't know if he's being kind or patronizing with the I'll pray for you thing. Like, if prayer worked, honey, I'm sure something would have happened by now. I can't tell you how many people do the I'll pray for you thing when it comes to, like, disability and stuff. And while I try to be appreciative of it, it's like, at the same time, do you know how many people, like, when they found out I was disabled, like, I'm sure my mom begged God to not have her daughter be disabled. I'm sure that, you know, my grandmother gave to her church with her disabled granddaughter's name and said, you know, could you help my disabled granddaughter? I'm sure all that stuff already happened. Like, there are some really, really devoutly religious people in all religions who are disabled or have family members who are disabled, and the prayer does not save them from it. You know, I was at once upon a time Catholic. It has been many a year, but I was Catholic when I was young. So when I was about 14, I think I started my deconversion or whatever. And you don't think I asked God why I was in pain so often? You don't think I asked God to, like, help me through some of my, like, tougher moments with my disability? You don't think I asked God why? Hoped for a different outcome? Offered almost anything when I was able to be normal? Anything?
That was harder than I expected.
Come on now. I mean, I know a lot of people when they say that their heart is in the right place. But at the same time, it's like, it also feels like really condescending because he gave 0 fucks at first.
Hooray!
Yeah, but like I said, my brother has known me, honestly, since I was born. And for him to just start the I will continue to pray for you, I'm like, okay, thank you. But, I'm like, people don't pray for me to fucking, you know, do other stuff. Yeah, the thing between my brother and I is just complicated. Like I was telling people, like, the brother between us, he knew that the oldest brother wouldn't ever fight for me, wouldn't care to keep in touch with me. So, husband actually thinks that, and I don't agree with this, but husband kind of thinks that Golden Wolf is fucking with me now. Because he didn't want anything to do with me for 2.5 years. And I always thought, like, what kind of a monster I was and everything. And he thought I just abandoned him because I wouldn't take care of Little Wolf, like, all summer long, 40, 50 hours a week. And I'm just like, I don't have my own kids for reasons. Like, I go out once or twice a week. If I go out twice a week, I have brain fog and extra pain, like, the whole week then. I can only manage about once a week. Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's my disability. I couldn't take care of the kid. I couldn't take care of my nephew 50 hours, 40, 50 hours. I wish I could have. I honestly wish. But I'm not built for it. I would actually have at least a part-time job if I could have managed it. You know? If I could manage to take care of a person that had their own special needs, like, all day, I could potentially hold on at least a part-time job And I can't. I literally can't. You know, and they don't tell you certain things when you're little about cerebral palsy. Like, the chronic fatigue is not normal, I don't think. But, the chronic pain sure is. And I didn't know that when I was little that I would be facing down this much pain. I know a lot of people with cerebral palsy who are in wheelchairs, and we're all dealing with trying to figure out the best pain management system for us. And like, my sister has a lot of pain in her hips, and she found out why, and she's gonna need injections. I know somebody else who uses other means to deal with the pain, and those means aren't legal here. Like I said, my nurse practitioner even asked me, like, do I green out? Do I smoke? And I was like, no, I don't. And then I said, it's not legal here. She said, well, I only want to know because of dosing. I wouldn't like turn you in or anything. Because with chronic pain, like, some people are really benefited by, you know, the greenery. And I have not tried it. I'm not one of those people that does things that aren't legal, even if they might benefit me. And yeah, so no, I don't do that. But I know people who do, and I know it helps them. And I know somebody with chronic pain who was homeless in Canada because he kept drinking to control the pain. Like, he would constantly drink.
That was harder than I expected.
Yes, SSI is nearly impossible. Oh, you're exhausted again? Okay, I'll get off of here then. I'll get off of here, we'll have dinner, and then you can sleep, okay?
Hooray!
And that's another thing. Golden Wolf was trying to get Little Wolf on SSI, and then of course he was denied because that's what they do. And then he's like, well, we can't get Little Wolf on SSI, and I'm like, you have to keep banging down that door. Even people who are blatantly, like, there is no question that they're disabled, sometimes they're just told no because they want you to quit. They want to drag it out. They want to make you too exhausted to continue. They want to make it so that you have to hire a lawyer. They make it as daunting and fucked up as humanly possible. So, yeah. It was nice to see you too, Lady Random. Alright, sweetheart. Okay, everyone. I will see all of you on Friday? Friday. For Stardew Valley. Wednesday is the candy making sesh with sister and husband, so that's why it's gonna be not Thursday. I will see you then, and we will see you because we're gonna be doing Stardew Valley. And take care of yourselves, know that you're worth it, and I will see you soon. Bye.